Hi, I'm the Moorlander and this is Moorlander Tactical. It's widely accepted that when it comes to protecting bits of your body, the two most important bits, especially if you're training, whatever it is, you're at the range, you're doing some pew-pewy stuff, or you're out skirmishing for the day. Ear pro, eye pro, always important. They are, you know, top of the list. Then you start to come down to the list and you're kind of looking at whether you need body armor, which, you know, it's not always important. But what I would definitely say comes in with gloves. Now this is a new brand to me. I know Master of Gloves have been around. I believe they're a Dutch company from the Netherlands. So they have been around for a while, but this is the first time that I've been able to, you know, test out a pair of their gloves. And I'm happy to announce, a spoiler for the rest of the piece of content, I'm really happy with these. So we have two pairs. Now they're the same pair, but there is a full finger and there is a cut-off finger version. I'm going to have to read this name because I've been butchering this name all the time. So these are the Target high-abrasion Ergosheild Trivium gloves. I probably did need to add that on the end. Now what I'm going to refer to them as from now on is the Target full finger and the Target cut-offs, because that, yeah, watch the bloopers at the end of this, you'll see how much I've sworn at myself for forgetting it. But yes, so as far as experience with these now, I've had these at least 4 game days. I've worn one in the morning and one in the afternoon, so I've kind of been switching them around. I've also mixed and matched these as well. They work incredibly well. If you've got enough money to buy both of them, it's great to have both, because you kind of have the manual dexterity and, you know, being able to, when you're indexing things, it's great to have the fingerless ones. But yes, that's what we are here today to look at. Let's turn the camera around, left of me waffling. Yeah, let's take a closer look. Now, as previously mentioned, so these are both the high abrasion. What are they called now? These are the Target high abrasion Ergosheild. But they're two separate types of glove, because you have the full fingered version and then you have the cut off versions. So with these, it's not like you have to buy a pair of the full length ones and then cut them off yourself. I have tried that in the past and it works great. There's no reason why you can't just cut them off yourself. But you end up with it fraying and it looks just a little bit weird, and then they don't last as long as a manufacturer actually making these, so that they are sewn around here. Now, for my hands, I have a I have a large size hand. I got these in large. It does say on the inside, so these are a size 9 large, and they fit me just right. I have no issues with the fitment on here. I will say though, as far as the fitment is concerned, these are a closer or a tighter wearing glove than some others. Now, specifically with that, I'm looking at mechanics. Sometimes I find with mechanics that when you have your hand in there, they often feel quite baggy. I know they have some versions that aren't as baggy, but when you have these on, they feel nice, they feel comfortable. They actually kind of you feel that the gloves is on, rather than just having your fingers flopping around in some mittens. As far as the materials are concerned, all of the materials on here are all nice high-end materials. The vast majority of them are man-made materials. So on the palm here, they have this suede that's on here. Now a lot of these, I'll leave the exact names of these different materials down here. But the suede on here, so this is designed to be up to 8 times stronger than normal kind of suede. And that's where the high abrasionness comes in with these. So these are designed to last a lot longer than other gloves will do. The main reason is it tends to be this area, because that's the bit that you're moving around, that's the bit that's kind of wearing against pieces of metal that you get the most wear, especially in your fingers. I'm sure we've all had a pair of tactical gloves where the one thing that goes is the end of the fingers. Now the way that these are designed with the fingers is, so this piece of metal, rather than having a seam here, there isn't a seam, because the seam is one of the things that always goes. This piece, did I say metal before? This piece of suede comes all the way round here, so there's less stitching for that to actually be an area where it could fail. If you have the full length versions, this part here means that you can touch a screen with this and it will work conductively, so you can still operate your screen. Obviously, if you have the cut-off versions, you can still operate your screen. You're not going to have any issues there. On the palms, you also have this silicone-y, rubbery kind of section. If I I was making it squeak before, but I will say that the grip that if this affords you is really nice. So taking that pistol grip, you certainly don't have any issues. Now for myself, I don't have to worry too much about hard recoil, but I know keeping your hand on the pistol or keeping your hand on the actual pistol grip itself, especially if there is hard recoil, is just as important as anything else for taking that second shot. Certainly no issues with this. It almost feels a little kind of Spider-Man-esque, like I should be able to climb the walls with these. In this section here, in your thumb, in between your thumb and coming through to your index finger here, this is one of the things that I really do appreciate about these gloves. So this piece of suede comes round here, it's one full piece, and then it comes along here to the end of your finger. Now when you're actually locking this into something, because it's one full piece, there's not as you have to get somewhere there's a stitch here and there's a stitch here. On a full day, maybe more so probably with my right hand, but having this in up so that it's upright, it's choked up at the top of a rifle, choked up at the top of a pistol. As far as kind of feeling it on this section of my thumb here, no issues whatsoever. It's really nice, and being able to lock it in so that your hand is in there again is excellent. Now on the reverse, actually let's say on this side, so coming up through here, so you have more of this suede, but then you come into the wrist and it's more like a neoprene, waterproof, not waterproof, like a wetsuit kind of material, and you can see it's actually kind of padded on the inside as well, so bumps and things against your wrist, you certainly don't have any issues. You can see it probably here more so with this one, where it's raised here. This is really nice. And then rather than just having little a lot of them, you just get those little kind of webbing eyelets. None of that crap with these. So this is full metal. So which was the one? So I did have a little bit of wear. Yeah, I've got a little bit of wear on this one where it's just been kind of rubbing against stuff. But this is full metal eyelets. So when you want to take these off and you just want to kind of stow them away for 20 minutes, whatever it is that you're doing, then yeah, you can pass a little carabiner through there. One thing I forgot to mention, as far as the cut-off versions, you do have small pull tabs here, so when you're trying to take these off, the most annoying part is when you cut your fingers off, is that then when you're trying to pull these through, you end up pulling these through so that they then turn inside. I know it's one of those first world kind of issues, but it's just annoying, it's just a pest. So the fact that they have these small pulls on here means that you can take them off and you don't have to like wrestle with them when you're trying to put them back on. So flipping these over, now I will say, as far as how high these ride on your wrist, I wouldn't say they ride too high. However, I do have to loosen off, and I haven't done with this one, but you do have to loosen your wristwatch ever so slightly so you can move it up. They do ride a little bit higher, so maybe with something like a duty glove where they would stop here, they do come a little bit higher. Now that affords your wrist a little bit more protection whilst you have these on, but again, you just have to kind of, you know, loosen your watch strap so that you can lift these up. The closures on here, so it's hook and loop, pull it over and it's nice and tight. It does afford a little bit more kind of stability through your wrist, but it's not too much that it feels like it's clamping down on my wrists. If you're the type of person that likes to have the closure underneath, then you might not be happy with these, but there's lots of other gloves out there in the market so that you can have those. This closure goes across the top and fits really well. I will say as well, so while you have these on, it doesn't kind of affect your wristwatch. So just moving, kind of articulating your wrists, it's kind of raised and then off kind of center a little bit. So yeah, no issues with that. Now hopefully across the back here, so you'll see, so this is more of a synthetic material, and there are some air holes in here. As far as the colours of these are concerned, you have the tan ones, there are black ones, and then you have multicam versions. There is a small Master of Gloves logo here, and then where your middle finger is here, where this articulation on the padding on the knuckles is, then you have a small Master of Gloves logo there as well. The full version, so for your 3 fingers here, you have plenty of this kind of TPU-esque rubber, so that if you do knock your knuckles against things, it will give you some protection from that. And as you'd expect, so where this knuckle is here, here, and here, and where your phalanges kind of meet your knuckles here, then you also have additional articulation there. On the cut-off versions, so you still have it on the end 2 fingers where this hasn't been cut away. In fact, the protection on those is identical between each of the gloves. You still end up with that articulation and then the articulation through the knuckle, whereas with the 2 cutaway versions, where the cutaway, clearly that's where that protection then stops. For your trigger fingers, whether you're lefty or a righty, rather than bringing this additional protection down through your fingers, mainly because if you're trying to put this in to your trigger guard, you don't want to make sure, if you're moving your way from safe position to there, you don't want anything catching there. There is a bit of a kind of rubbery, grippy texture to this, so not having there will make sure that you can get your finger in perfectly. That's what she said. But you do still have knuckle protection here at the top, because your finger's going to be out. This is going to be your palm where this is out. Then you do get some protection, but yeah, getting your finger in there, no issues whatsoever. Kind of torn on these, and I think the best part is if you can afford both of them, and they're not particularly expensive either. I think these are 30. Ooh, I need to check. I think they're about £35–36 for a pair. If you can afford and you can pick up both of them, it's great to have both on those days when it's not so cold, or you know that you certainly have a rifle that you're going to be reloading as much. Being able to have that manual dexterity, or not manual dexterity, but being able to index things and being able to find things perfectly because you've got more control with your fingertips, these are great. But then on the days when, you know, I had these on in the morning and I kept these on in the afternoon, I've certainly not had any issues. I would say that the leather on the end of these is actually really nice. So when you're trying to find whatever that pistol magazine is that's on your hip, or if you've got something maybe in one of your, like a dangler pouch, and you're just kind of trying to find things, trying to work out what's metal and what's plastic, which is great with the cut-off versions, but you can still kind of do that with these. Plus, because this is made with a material that you can interact with your phone, whether you go for either of them, it's great with both. And then of course you have the opposite, as I'm sure you probably would have guessed. So here is the opposite version to here, and here is the opposite version to there. And yeah, really nice gloves. And I will say, as far as all day protection and all day comfort is concerned, incredibly comfortable. Once these are wet, one of the issues that I've had with some other manufacturers is when they get wet, I don't know what protection they put on them, but once they get wet for the first maybe 4 or 5 games, it almost feels as like they've got soap on them, like there's some sort of kind of additive that they've applied to the outside to kind of keep them working. With these, you don't get any of that. These, on my first day gaming with these, I didn't feel like I needed to wear these in. I put them on, it felt like I'd owned these for months, and I think that's one of the big kind of takeaways that I'd say with these, is the fact that even when you've not had them for long, they still feel like a pair of gloves that you've had for a long time. And I think as far as the high abrasion is concerned, I think time will tell on these. Maybe I'll do a follow-up piece of content on these, but I'm pretty positive that these will live up to their name as well. Now, as far as gloves go, I've always been a mechanics kind of guy. I've got several different pairs of gloves, and I've tried out several different pairs of gloves over the years. For me, these take a tactical glove and they've really kind of finessed it. The materials that they're made out of, the grip on the hand is absolutely amazing. That position where you're kind of locking whatever this part of your thumb is, when that locks into your, when it locks into your pistol grip, when it locks into your rifle, is excellent. The positioning of where the kind of the silicone part is over your knuckles is great. The fit on these is excellent. Now, as I mentioned, the fit I found is a little on the tighter side. So if you're One of the things that I found was swapping these in the morning, because my hands were wet having worn these, trying to put these on. You know when you've got wet feet and you're trying to put on a sock, because these are a little bit tighter, then they're just a little bit more of a struggle to get on. But once they're on, certainly no issues with them. The fit is incredibly nice. When it comes to the manual dexterity, I think because of the fit on these, it certainly helps with that as well. So all in all, would I recommend? Yes, I would definitely recommend these. They are incredibly nice gloves. I do have another pair of these as well, which I will bring some content out on the future as well. I just need to get some more kind of experience with those. But for my first foray into MoG, or Master of gloves, very impressed with these, incredibly impressed with these, in fact. Yeah, so there you go. Now, I got these from Military First. Military First did send these to me. I have been working with Military First now for the last 5 or 6 years, probably maybe 6 or 7 years. They're an awesome company. They're a stone's throw away from me here in the Kingdom of the Moorlands in Manchester. They ship all through the UK, all through Europe, North America. Yeah, really good company, and of course I'll leave some of their links below so that you can see more from them. I'll leave some links to Master of Gloves as well, just in case there's any kind of technical parts that I missed out here that you might be able to get from them. I'll leave some of my social media links so that you can see more from me here on Moorlander Tactical, and also my sister channel, Moorlander EDC, where I look at more kind of everyday stuff. And whether you're watching this on YouTube or Rumble, as always, stay safe, stay Moorlander, and stay tactical. Gloves. Now, as previously mentioned, so we have 2 gloves here. You have, let's put much over there, your digits. So, I've had a look at these. So these, oh shit, I forgot the name already. I spent too long fucking waffling, didn't I? Like a dickhead. Call them just glovey gloves. Tactical glovey gloves. That's the shit you need to keep your hands protected. I'm going to have to leave that out. Target, high-abrasion, Ergosheild. Fucking... What? Why? Now, as previously mentioned, so these are essentially the same glove, but they are actually separate gloves. Now, gloves are the second most important thing, especially for your hands. Now, of course it's for your hands, you fucking dick. You're not going to stick your dick in them. Oh, fuck's sake. I think what these do is, these have actually refined mentally the most important pieces of protection that you can have out there. After that, where do you go? Where do you go? I know where you go. Straight to fucking jail, you prick. A bit sweary today, sorry about this folks. Should I bleep this out? Should I just leave it in? YouTube doesn't like it when you swear too much. Target, high-abrasion, Ergosheild. Target, high-abrasion, Ergosheild. I'm not going to remember it. I'm the Moorlander, and this is Moorlander Tactical. Take 16! Yeah, allow me swearing today, sorry about that folks, but sometimes I read something somewhere that people that swear more often have better mental health. My mental health is shocking, so I really do worry about people that don't swear that often. It's coming out Friday, as tactical content always comes out Friday, so hope you're good. Hope you're all going to have a good weekend. If you are out pew-pewing, if you're out at the range, if you are out skirmishing, don't forget your eye pro, don't forget your ear pro, and gloves. I always think it's weird when I see people skirmishing with no gloves. It's just, it makes my pubes stand on end kind of thing. It's like, what are you doing? There's a little bit more than I needed to share, wasn't it? But anyway, yeah, don't forget your gloves, because that's just weird. Anyway, cool. Have a good and a safe weekend. See you soon. You can go now. All right, love you. Bye.